church in 06. And then in July of 07, we were given two more buildings. We were given a 10,000 and a 4,000 square foot building in a community called Washington Park. Now this area is just as violent as East St. Louis. A couple of years ago, the mayor was shot twice in the chest and killed in his car in broad daylight. We found a teenager that had been shot in the head, face down, with pool of blood in our church parking lot. It happened on a Saturday night, so Sunday morning, we're having church and we're in the middle of a live crime scene. That's where we're at. And there are cities all across this country that are facing that type of stuff every day. If we don't put Jesus and the church back into it, there's no hope. The only way the cities can change is Jesus. And let me tell you something this morning. He still heals, he still delivers, and he still sets the captive free. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. There's nothing too difficult. There's nothing impossible for God. He is still the same, and he uses his people to do the work. And so when we got those buildings in Washington Park, the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to plant a Spanish-speaking church in this building. I said, Lord, do you know what you're asking me to do? There's no Hispanics here. He said, this is what I want you to do. And so for a year, I prayed and asked God to send me a Spanish-speaking pastor. And in August of 08, God gave me a guy named Ramon Granados. And so he came on staff with me slowly, and he wasn't credentialed. Really didn't know a whole lot about this guy. I just knew that God had spoken to me. This guy was supposed to be on staff with me in training. And so he'd been with me about 5 months. And then I guess he felt bad. So he said, Pastor, I have to confess something to you. I said, what is it? He said, I'm a convicted felon. By the time I was 39 years old, I spent 19 years in prison. I'm an ex-gang member. I was a very violent, very dangerous person. I was so violent that they moved me from prison to prison because of my gang ties. So most of my time I spent in solitary confinement. In 2000, and he'd been locked up since 85. In 2000, somebody slid a Bible underneath the door and I read it and I gave my life to Jesus. In 2002, I got baptized in the Holy Spirit and they released me. And I was in a prison in Missouri, and I moved back to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and for 5 years, every weekend, I went to Juarez, Mexico, and did street ministry. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. If I'd been like most people and not give that guy a chance, the kingdom of God would have lost a great general in the army. Today, he's ordained with the Assemblies of God. He has 3 guys that are taking credentials, and he's planted the first church we launched. He just launched a second church. Where are you getting at with this today, preacher? Don't get caught up in what people look like. Don't judge people by the way they look. Hear their heart first. Because God has a lot of people outside the walls of this building this morning that are unsaved and unchurched and don't understand any of this. And they need us to disciple them, to love them, and to see the Holy Spirit change them. It's not our job to change anybody. We can't change anyone. It's our job to be the hands and feet of Christ and allow the Holy Spirit to do the rest. And so, we launched that work. And as we were launching that work, we were launching another work in St. Louis. Because God just spoke to me and said, I want you to reach the Bosnians. And I didn't have any